What do you think? Is the Cancer Act from 1939 in the UK preventing alternative remedies from being used? Is it a conspiracy against alternative medicine, or is it protecting the public from snake oil remedies and advertisements about cures? Well, it's both. And in a way, I found it quite exciting because I was personally involved when I held a workshop in the UK and in London, and it was closed down because I was working against the Cancer Act. So I thought I'll research a bit more about it and let you know my opinion. Well, first of all, let's read this. At its heart, the current incarnation of the Cancer Act is designed to protect cancer patients and the public from being bombarded with adverts for cancer treatments from any source, including medical professionals, pharmaceutical companies, alternative practitioners, and anyone else. Which means it's not a conspiracy against one direction, it actually is made for the public. Now, when you look at this image right up on top, you can see that it was actually pretty dark ages. It was a decade before chemotherapy was invented. It was almost a decade before antibiotics became available to the public. So it's not something that was created to prevent, it was actually prevention for the public. Now, on one side, that's kind of stupid because English people don't only browse English websites, a World Wide Web. They have the whole internet available, which means they still learn about all those cures, about all those remedies that are available on the market. And it's not only to work against chemotherapy and radiation, but we have a big problem because in all clinics, only chemo, radiation and surgery are available, and you can't talk about alternative treatments. Well, all of a sudden you have a very strong lobby, and that's why I think it's a bit outdated and should be changed. But on the other side, snake oil advertisements, we know today, are still plentiful. Now, as the producer of Cancer is Curable Now, and I'll talk about that in a moment, I've got to learn that there is lots of remedies that are advertised for cancer that don't really have the effect that they are told to have. For example, when you think frankincense cures cancer, there is 7 research studies, none of them in vivo, only in vitro, in a petri dish. And that's where they show that it kills cancer. But if you take it for a human being, there is no results whatsoever. And that's the same with Esiac, dandelion cures cancer, GCMF cures cancer, Mariana cures cancer, Rigvia, vitamin C. All of those have a certain influence on the human body. They all have immune modulating effects, but they are not a cure for cancer. And that's why to prevent people from advertising that is actually not a bad idea, because it causes a lot of confusion. And I've met so many patients that tried it all. They relied on it. They hoped, they spent their last pennies, and then still had to pass away because no one was educating them properly. So what is the real cure? Now you see here, this was the title of our first movie, Cancer is Curable Now. And everybody remembered that, but nobody read the subtitle. However, it's not cured with medicine or drugs, but with knowledge. Well, first of all, understanding what makes me sick, what are the causes of disease, how can I remove those causes out of my life, was the main purpose of the movie. But somehow it went into that conspiracy concept, and that's why we changed the title, we re-edited the movie, we cut out a lot of the fraud treatments that I found afterwards not to be effective. But it's something that is very important to understand. Cutting off organs, mastectomy before you get cancer, doesn't work because it grows around the scar tissue. Cutting out colon before you get cancer still grows in other places in the body. Cancer cells don't really select just one organ and you can cut that out. They grow because the milieu of the body, the circumstances, the causes have not been removed. Poisoning the body with chemotherapy and radiation, has a success rate of 3% of extending life by 4 years. Now that's not really a valid trait if you look at neuropathy, pain, organ failure, kidney problems, brain fog, damage. You know, chemotherapy is not a healthy treatment. It causes a lot of side effects. Yes, it might give you a little bit longer, but for what kind of trade-off? And alternative remedies, you need to do a lot. Let's face it, you need to do a whole range of things in order to stay well. They might extend or slow down the process, but very rarely do they help you to overcome the disease. And you know, for me to say that is kind of a double-edged sword, but I have witnessed friends of mine spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars without any results. And that's why we don't think cures are suppressed. There is a lot of hype, a lot of promotion, a lot of fanatic people that are so desperate to have a cure that they share hearsay. You know, like, I heard marijuana cures cancer. Oh, that's a cure and it must be true. They're so desperate for a solution that they will tell you anything, but very, very rarely do those things work. And that's why I would like to talk very short about the real cure. What is actually transforming this medicine? And you can see this tree behind me, which is bearing the fruit of everything which is underneath in the ground, you know, which are all the different causes of disease. Now, if we have poor digestion, if we have impaired genetics, if we have trauma, toxic thoughts and toxic lifestyle, you know, lack of exercise, nutrient deficiency, very, very important. Our soils are so depleted that we don't have enough nutrition. When you look at relationship problems, lack of sleep, toxins, very, very dramatic. We do a lot of toxicological tests, and you can see people are full with mercury, arsenic, lead, all sorts of heavy metals, plus all the plastic pollution, BPAs, all the phthalates, all the plastic toxicity that clogs up our system. You know, just watching the 10 American babies is already a very clear indication that we're all riddled with hundreds of toxins, neurotoxins, endocrine disruptors right from birth. And then you look at stress, well, that's one of the biggest, and inflammation. Then you know there is plenty of causes that lead to different diseases, whether that's autoimmune diseases, diabetes, thyroid, depression, anxiety, heart disease, chronic fatigue. You know, all of those diseases, including cancer, are the result of all of that. And that's where a new form of medicine proves to be a lot more effective in the fight against chronic degenerative diseases than anything else. And I've been interviewing over 200 doctors now and searched the world. I've traveled 4 times around the globe, visiting clinics, visiting doctors to search for a solution. And I found that all practitioners who practice functional medicine, who look for the root cause, looking for the bottom part, you know, what is out of whack, what is out of balance, what is in disarray, and start to resolve that, have 10 times better results. And not only better results, lasting results. And that's why I thought I'll share that with you, because I found it a very important part of mixing functional medicine, functional testing with proper medical approach and with remedies that really work, treatments that are proven to work. We have hundreds of research studies, so it's not promising cures, it's actually removing the cause of disease. And if the cure is the result, yay, great, we can celebrate. And that's what we've learned to follow. And I'm not in that, you know, does functional medicine need to hide from the Cancer Act? No. I understand when I first time went to England that our venue was closed down. I really understand it, because my approach was still the old-fashioned style. You know, I know what helps to cure cancer. But since we moved around into functional medicine, it's actually transformed completely. It's a very scientific approach to find the underlying cause of disease. Once determined, they are resolved one by one, and the body is supported in its own healing capacity. It leads to lasting results, and patients will get better with every bit that is changed. And that's why we've been starting to promote this kind of medicine a lot more aggressively, because let's say we stop the madness by shooting at cancer cells, by firing. Now look at this image. This is a course. There is water sprinkling up from top, and you can mop up the floor. And that's the same. You have toxins in your body, and they cause more and more cancer cells. So you can wipe off cancer cells, you can clean them out, you can take all sorts of remedies to kill off cancer cells. As long as the toxins are not removed, as long as it still dribbles the water, you'll be mopping up the floor forever. And that's why removing the cause is the only way to really achieve great results. And that's what we teach. Functional medicine, we have a free program for patients. So as you sign up as a patient and go through, I think it's 42 videos, it's over 32 lessons, you will learn all the different causes and how to deal with them, how to remove them out of your life. We have an app, an online app that you can sign in as a health professional to work through with your patients, where every single cause is clearly shown with all the different tests that are available, with all the symptoms that they indicate and all the diseases that they promote. So working through the app with your patients will give you incredible results. Plus, we have a certification program for health coaches, functional medicine health coaches, and functional medicine certification for health practitioners. You know, if you're a naturopath, if you are a nutritionist, if you are any kind of professional that has already a license to treat, you can learn functional medicine and implement that pathway to health in your own way. Now, we also offer live workshops, and I would like to invite you to come and follow through with me in a hands-on workshop where we really look at all the root causes and learn what kind of treatments, what kind of remedies remove those causes so that health can actually flourish, can actually take place, and disease is no longer needed. All right? That's my opinion to the Cancer Act. If you have different ideas, please share them below. I'm very excited to hear what you have to say about this conspiracy against natural medicine.